My name's Andy and I'm from Picton, Tahmoor Uniting Church, and here today to tell you about the journey we've had in combining as one congregation. And I have with me George Kruger, who has traditionally been a member of Tahmoor Uniting Church and is on the church council. So George is going to tell you a little bit about Tahmoor's history. Thanks, George.
Thank you very much, Andy. Well, about 13 years ago, Tahmoor was experiencing a decline in their congregation numbers. And we knew that if we didn't do anything about this fairly shortly, we were going to just disappear off the face of the earth. So we decided to go out to the community and attract people into the church. We decided that we'd have a community outreach program going, which entailed us setting up a men's shed, a community garden. The idea was hopefully by bringing the community into our property, we'd be able to get enough interest and boost our numbers. Well, it worked beautifully. The gardens grew, the men's shed grew. We had community markets, we had monthly markets going, and that was wonderful. But it did not convert into people coming into our church. In the meantime, our congregation numbers were still consistently dropping. And if we didn't do anything immediately, then we'd have no church, and all that hard work that we put into this community outreach program was going to fall apart. So we looked outside the box and we thought we need to do something else. And down the road from us, there was Picton Uniting Church, only 10 k's from where we were. And we thought if we can start a dialogue between us, maybe we can use some of their resources, we can offer some of what we have and come together as one church. And in that way, get our outreach program going and still keep our church moving along as well. So from there, of course, we needed to get into dialogue with the Picton Uniting Church, because Picton Uniting Church had a lot of resources which we could use. We had a lot to offer them, and we thought if we could work together with each other, we could get a uniting church going, a united church going, in which we could get the message, we could preach our faith and get that in a practical way out into the community. And so we started this dialogue, and Andy will now just let us know what was happening at Picton at that particular time.
Our church was very much a church where people came to be nourished on a Sunday at worship and then went out into the world, and we had people doing work with Uniting World, Frontier Services, environmentally, Aboriginal health, but we tended to be involved in our own little projects here, there and everywhere. And so church was very much a place where you came to recharge your batteries. If you look at the church as being the body of Christ, we felt that we had parts of our bodies missing, and I guess you felt the same. We had our church hall being used regularly by the community, and you had a much more community-focused feel, we felt, as a church. And we felt that by joining together, we'd be a complete body. Mm-hmm. And so that was where we started. Firstly, we looked at just having a few combined services, and that very quickly moved to having services as one congregation for about a year, alternating between the two sites. And we have now formed one church council, which has cut down on a lot of workload, which is what the one council managing both sites. We need to look at where we're going to go in the future, use of properties. There's a whole range of issues there to be looked at, but also how do we improve on the services? Because of the COVID virus, we've sort of gone online a lot more, and a lot of people are enjoying that style of worship too. So we need to see how we can improve on what we were doing and combine maybe the two. The challenge for the congregation is that we had surveyed everybody, and that included people from the community garden and from the men's shed. So it wasn't just people who came to worship at church. We saw church as being a wider thing.
Right.
And we have now got a lot of data from those surveys, but we need to find a way of putting them into a strategic plan, and that's a challenge to the congregation. How do we do that, particularly in these times and beyond these times, to work out where we're going as a church into the future?
Yeah.